why of all of the different, there's so many different laws, different, practices, it runs the gamut. Why elder law?
So there's a couple of reasons that came about in my life. Probably started with the fact that I grew up in a family of lawyers.
Okay.
My dad was an amazing man. He was kind and compassionate and gave us an amazing example of how to live your life, how to take care of your family, and how to take care of your clients all at the same time. That said, I was adamant I was never going to follow in his footsteps as a lawyer. It was never, ever, ever going to happen. But when I was in my early 20s, my dad passed away from a car accident. And there are lots of things about that time in my life that I don't remember very well. It was pretty up in the air a lot. But I do remember being at this table in a law office with my mother, my sister, my brother, my grandmother, and trying to figure out what was supposed to happen next. And at one end of the table was one lawyer, and at the other end of the table was another. And they happened to be my two uncles. And they were
The whole family.
The whole family.
The whole family was there.
Yeah. The whole family.
Okay.
And trying to kind of figure out what's going to happen next. And I got that it wasn't making sense to a lot of people, but it clicked for me. And so pretty early in the meeting, I started interpreting what was going on. And so I'd listen to my uncles, and then I'd turn to my mom or my sister or my grandma, and I'd start telling them what was supposed to happen. And through that meeting, it just kind of, it started making sense. Life went on. I kind of forgot about it. A year later, I happened to be here in LA visiting family, and they happened to be attorneys too.
Okay.
And we were talking about life and what I should do, and that meeting came up, and that being able to explain things and help people understand. And they said, well, you ought to go to law school. And so I did. And I didn't really ever look back.
And that was it for you.
That was it.
And so you kind of innately just knew what the lawyers were talking about.
Yeah.
You hadn't done any kind of law school or study or anything?
No, growing up around it is about the best. I worked in my dad's office, but I had a business degree. I worked with a trust company, but none of that was really focusing on what was going on with my family.
Sure.
And so from the day I started law school, it was always about coming out and being able to work with families that are going through hard times, or helping them make those times easier.
Sure.
Planning ahead.
And that's so important, planning ahead.